Have you ever felt overwhelmed by challenges that seem endless? Like every step you take, a new obstacle appears harder than the last? What if I told you that the difficulties you're facing right now could be signs that God is preparing you for something grand? In today's video, we'll talk about how spiritual battles are not signs of defeat, but powerful indications that God is working in your life. I know it can be hard to see, but the struggles you face today could be exactly what you need for a glorious future. If you're ready to turn your struggles into growth and faith, stay with me. Let's discover together the signs that you are being prepared for something greater. Spiritual battles are a natural part of the faith journey. All of us at some point in life face challenges that test our strength, patience, and faith. Whether it's at work, in relationships, or in our health, spiritual battles show up in unexpected ways. And while these struggles may be exhausting, they are not signs that we are being punished or rejected. On the contrary, they can be signs that God is shaping us, preparing us for something greater. Think of Joseph, who was sold as a slave by his own brothers. He spent years facing suffering and humiliation, but without those battles, he wouldn't have fulfilled the divine plan for his life. The story of David, who was pursued by Saul, is also a clear example. Without these challenges, David wouldn't have become the great king of Israel. Just like them, we often go through trials, but each one is preparing us for what lies ahead. These difficulties may seem endless, but they are necessary for shaping us into the person God intends us to be. Now let's explore some clear signs that God is, in fact, preparing you for something greater. I want you to pay close attention to each of these signs because they are important for the journey you're on. The first thing to notice is unexpected obstacles. Sometimes it feels like we're being tested constantly, and the feeling of taking 2 steps back for every 1 step forward can be frustrating. But as difficult as they may be, these obstacles are not the end. They are preparation. They shape your faith and character, making you stronger and more capable of handling what's to come. Remember Joseph. He was sold as a slave and went through years of hardship, but it was through these difficulties that he was prepared for the glorious future God had for him. Another important sign is the feeling of isolation. When we feel alone, it's easy to think we're being forgotten, but often, this is exactly when God wants to teach us something deep. Isolation can be a way God pulls us away from distractions, placing us in a space where we can grow spiritually. Jesus spent 40 days in the desert before starting his ministry. Sometimes God places us in moments of solitude so we can connect with him more deeply, without the distractions of the world. Have you noticed that when you face great challenges, you sometimes begin to grow in areas you never expected? You may find yourself developing skills you never thought you had, or your perspective on certain aspects of life may completely change. This happens because often spiritual and personal growth comes disguised as unexpected challenges. God teaches us patience, resilience, and even skills that will be crucial for our mission ahead. Don't despise this growth. It's the preparation for the great work God wants to do in your life. Another sign that you are being prepared for something greater is the closing of doors. Sometimes we try to go down a path, and no matter how hard we try, the doors keep closing. While this can be frustrating, it's important to understand that when a door closes, God is opening another one that leads to something better. Sometimes, our own choices or plans are not the ones that will take us to the destination God has for us, but he is guiding us to the right place. Think of Paul, who was blocked from going to Asia, but this led him to preach in Europe, changing the course of the Christian church. Another important sign is when you begin to feel a strong intuition or a clear direction in your life. God often guides us through our feelings, a deep sense of knowing that something is right or wrong. Often when we feel led to do something, it's because God has already paved the way for us, even if we can't see the full picture yet. If you have a strong calling in your heart, trust that feeling. It might just be the direction God wants you to follow. Finally, a clear sign that you're being prepared for something greater is accelerated spiritual growth. When we face difficulties, it's common to draw closer to God. Moments of crisis often make us seek God's presence more fervently, and this spiritual growth is exactly what God uses to strengthen us and prepare us for the future. Crisis may be the key to a deeper level of faith and understanding, and it's through this spiritual depth that you will be empowered to face the challenges ahead. Now that you know the signs, how can you apply them in your life? First, start by increasing your spiritual awareness. This means setting aside time for prayer, meditation, and listening to God's voice in your life. A great exercise is to keep a faith journal, where you record your struggles and also the moments you feel God's presence. As you look back, you'll be able to identify the signs of divine preparation more clearly. Next, seek wisdom in moments of tribulation. Instead of focusing only on the difficulties, ask God what you can learn from them. Each struggle has a lesson that can be key to your growth. Lastly, trust the process. Often we don't understand the reasons behind the battles we face, but we must trust that God is in control, and in His perfect timing, He will reveal the complete plan. Remember, He never abandons us. He's preparing us for great things. To wrap up, I want you to remember one thing. The battles you face today are not the end of your story. They are just the beginning of something much greater. God is preparing you for something amazing. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and victory is within reach. I encourage you to reflect on your own life and identify the signs of divine preparation. Share your experiences in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos that will strengthen you on your faith journey. Believe in your path, for God is working in your life, and soon you will see the purpose behind it all. The best is yet to come.